Hello, troublemakers out there. I'm Matt Catling, and this is the next disruption session where we interview the biggest troublemakers we can find. We answer your questions to help you get disruptive in life and business. Now, let's get started. Hi, it's Matt here, and welcome to the next disruption session. And I hope you guys are having a great day today. Personally, my day has been sensational. Woke up very, very early this morning, actually, and did this incredible meditation as the sun was coming up. And the place that I live is right on Manly Beach, and so it is so beautiful. And it's hard not to be grateful in those situations. And I was looking at our social media, and we've actually got a few questions that came in, and I thought I'd answer those today for our disruption session. And in fact, one of the questions was, why did I actually call this disruption sessions? And I love the word disruption because it really suggests doing something new, disrupting the old or the old patterns. And it's a term that I've coined with our troublemakers business. In fact, with the troublemakers, we say create a disruption to create an eruption of opportunities. But I look at it more than business. I look at how do we disrupt those sabotaging patterns? How do we disrupt those patterns around health, relationships, business, career that in some cases we feel powerless around? I also look at crises. Crises are disruptions to the norm. And if you look at major crises in life, albeit they're very, very uncomfortable, what they actually do is shake you up. They have you look at the world in different ways. They have you ask questions that you wouldn't normally ask. And one major disruption in my life, if you've been to Live It Now, is my dad passing. And it was sudden, it was Father's Day, we were running along Manly Beach, and it was the biggest disruption to my life, to my family's life, to everything. And I was 13 years old, and that disruption sent my life in a different direction. Now, initially it was chaotic. Initially I was all over the place, but with that disruption, it got me conscious. I started to ask different questions, and the questions that I was asking was, what is life about? And we've only got a short period of time, and I don't want to be doing what my dad did. I don't want to end up like him. I don't want to have that specific result. I want to have a different life. And I saw my dad kind of work his entire life, never go on holidays, put his life on hold. And it's so interesting, 2 weeks before he passed away, he said to me, Matt, the key to life is to live it now. And so that was a major disruption in my life. And I started to search for answers. I started to research. I started to learn. I wanted to learn about myself. I wanted to learn about life. I wanted to learn about him. And this Live It Now message became a mantra. And I made decisions based on that. Instead of getting on other people's goal plans, I started to kind of realize that we only have this short amount of time, and it's what we do with the moments that we have that is so important. And it led me to create Live It Now. And in Live It Now, I look at, what are these unconscious patterns that we actually need to disrupt? So I call these disruption sessions because really it's about getting uncomfortable and disrupting your life or disrupting your business. Because if we look at business and in terms of how we go to the next level, it might be you're in a job and you want to do your first 100K, or it might be the 100K to $1 million, the $1 million to 10 million, whatever it is. In order to get to those specific positions in your business, what has to happen is a disruption in the business, but a disruption in the leader. And I often say a business will never outperform the psychology or skill level of the leader. And this is why some leaders can be holding the businesses back, because they're not willing to look at themselves internally and kind of disrupt their old belief systems, their old habits, their decisions, their viewpoint of what the business is. Because the vision will really determine how far the business grows. Now, a lot of entrepreneurs, they don't have a vision for their business. In fact, they often have a vision of challenge, a vision that it's so hard, they're only able to just pay the bills, and that becomes their reality. And so we've got to disrupt this stuff. And it's to me, the disruption starts inside. And so I wanted to create these disruption sessions to basically disrupt your everyday, to challenge you a little bit so that we can look at things that maybe you haven't looked at, or maybe you've been pushing down or avoiding. And instead of avoiding it, let's disrupt those things. Let's face those wounds, those fears, those challenges that you're facing in your business. And let's create a disruption to create an eruption of opportunities. And I think a lot of you would have experienced that before, is that when you get through the entire disruption process, what kind of happens next is what we call the breakout. And that's where you break out to a new level of operation. And that's what these disruption sessions are, is we're going to disrupt you, then we want to help you break out. And funnily enough, the next question was actually, well, how do I break out of my job? And it's an interesting question. In fact, I created a program called The Great Escape to help people hatch escape plans to break out of their job and do their first 100K, and that's part of my Troublemakers business. And I think that's what we've first got to do, is adopt that Troublemakers mindset in order to break out. For this question, how do you break out of your job? We've got to adopt that Troublemakers mindset. Now, what is the Troublemakers mindset? The Troublemakers mindset is that you're willing to challenge rules. In fact, you're not willing to just challenge those rules. You're willing to get in a little bit of trouble. And that these rules could be your own internal rules that you put on yourself about what's possible, about what you should be doing, and all of those interesting things that sometimes we pick up from childhood. And so the first thing is that we want to disrupt your rules internally, and then maybe we want to disrupt the rules of maybe some other people, maybe mum's rules, maybe dad's rules, maybe your boss's rules. And we want to be trouble. We want to get in a little bit of trouble. We want to be disruptive. We want to get a little bit controversial maybe. And with this type of approach, what we're really doing is getting creative. If you look at any business, a business fundamentally is about solving problems. And the more problems that we can solve and the faster we can solve them, the more successful fundamentally we're going to become. Like if you think of it, a business, we're solving problems with our customers, we're solving problems with our team, we're solving problems with cash flow, we're solving our own internal problems. It's about solving problems as fast as possible. Now, how do we solve problems? We become creative. We think outside of the box. And that's what a troublemaker does. They think outside of the box, they challenge rules, and a lot of time we've got these self-imposed rules that if you kind of step back from them, they make no sense. And if you follow these rules, they're really going to limit your life. So first step is getting into that troublemaker mindset. And this is why with my Great Escape program and Troublemakers Business Breakout, we kind of have this schoolyard experience where we hold each other to a higher standard. We pay each other out, but we hold each other to a higher standard. And so if someone's got a fear or a doubt, or they're worried about what someone thinks, all of the troublemakers rally around them and go, okay, now you've got to do it. Now you've got to create a disruption to create an eruption of opportunity. So the first thing is, when it comes to the breakout, is the internal breakout. And the internal breakout is breaking out of your rules, breaking out of your mindset, because the current mindset that you have is what's producing the current set of results. And as you probably know, if you're listening to this podcast, it's the decisions that we make that determine our destiny. So if you're making the same decisions over and over again, you're going to get the same results. So we've got to make some different decisions. We've got to be troublesome, we've got to be disruptive, and we've got to be creative. And that's the troublemaker's mindset. The next thing is looking at having a bit of a disruptive plan to be able to break out. The disruptive plan is often taking the pressure off a little bit. A lot of people do the all or nothing type thing, and some people can do that. And what I mean by the all or nothing is that you get rid of your job straight away and then jump into a business, whatever it may be. I'm not necessarily a massive fan of that. What I would say is let's hatch an escape plan. Let's have a disruptive plan, and let's build maybe what you would call is a side business, or what some people are calling at the moment is a side hustle. And the first thing that I look at with a side business or a side hustle is more the learning and growth. A lot of people kind of build these businesses and their expectation is to make hundreds of thousands of dollars straight away. I see this, especially in the personal development industry with coaches and therapists and all that type of stuff. They think, oh, I should be earning six figures plus while working 25 hours or less a week doing shit that doesn't work. And the reality is, no. I believe you've got to earn the right to be successful. And part of earning the right to be successful is going through multiple breakouts. And one of those things could be facing fears like fear of rejection, your fear of sales, your fear of promotion, fear of the good opinion of other people, all of these other fears around cash flow, fears around authority figures, fears around government, all those things. These are the things that we've got to face, and not just face, we've got to break out of them. And breaking out of them, it kind of suggests force, that we're attacking them. We're attacking them and breaking out. So these are the things. In fact, there's 4 kind of stages when it comes to your 0 to 100K. And you could apply to every level. When I say 0 to 100K, what I mean is breaking out of your job and doing your first 100K in your business. So the first step that you're going to go through, step number 1, is a whole lot of learnings. And initially, the learnings are about your customer, in terms of what your customer wants, and that's the most important information. Being able to research and understand your customer is crucial, and the problems that they have, the things that are holding them back, because at the end of the day, that's typically why they're going to want your product or service. It's going to solve some type of problem, give them a certain result, or have them feel in some way different. And if we can fast track that, then they're probably going to love your product or service. So the first thing is we've got to learn about a customer, but what you're really learning about is yourself. Now, the thing about learning is it's kind of easy to learn intellectually. Like a lot of people, they go to seminar after seminar, book after book. They've got this incredible intellectual understanding. And I often say this in events. Every single person in this room knows how to transform their life, but are they actually doing it? Because the difference between knowing and doing is worlds apart. And so a lot of the time I say to people, burn the books. Stop doing that stuff. Stop doing the things that are in your comfort zone. Stop trying to build the best administration system, tax system, all that type of stuff. And get out there and be disruptive. Make a mess, get some cash flow, and then get someone else to clean it up. And make a sales mess typically. And so that's what we're learning about, is we're learning about our customer, but indirectly we're learning about ourselves. And often you'll get a whole lot of learnings in your business, but you won't be present to it, because when you increase emotion, you decrease intelligence. And that's where having a great coach or a board or a great support system that is not emotionally connected, by the way, not mum, not dad, not someone that's employed that's projecting all of their fears onto you, someone that is a specialist that's objective, someone like me, that is going to help you not only identify the learnings, but create a structure that is going to ensure follow through. And so the first step is we're going to get a whole heap of learnings, and we want to get them fast. But then what we want to do is we want to move to the next step, which is number 2, which is growth. And growth is really the application of all of the learnings. A whole lot of people kind of stay stuck in step number 1, which is learning about the business, but they don't apply it. And they typically don't apply it because it's uncomfortable and they feel like they're breaking into. And I say to people, that's exactly right. That's what the breakout is. You have to evolve. Like the leader that is doing 100K in their business is completely different to the leader that is doing $1 million, and the leader that is doing 10 million is completely different as well. Different values, different belief systems, different risk ratios, different decision-making processes. And really, the more money you're earning in your business, it just kind of means that you've got a bigger vision, a bigger focus. Instead of day to day or week to week, you're thinking 6 months, 12 months, 3 to 5 years in the future, and that's your predominant thought process, so you don't get stuck in the problems. The other thing is that you probably make decisions quickly and really pounce on the opportunities where previously you were probably procrastinating on those decisions and stuck in a little bit more fear. I think what starts to happen as your business grows and you evolve, especially if you're building a business through cash flow without capital investment, you have to change. And there's leverage to change to be able to move to the next level. And really, it's the new realization that failure is the key. and creating a new relationship to failure. So step number one is getting learnings and really identifying those learnings. Step number two is growth, and growth happens with the application or when you apply all of those learnings. Okay? And that's why having, as I said, a support system outside of the business is crucial. The next one, and this is the exciting one, what everyone wants, is money. And money often it skyrockets almost from all of these random sources where people suddenly contact you. You start to get sales or online sales, offline sales, whatever it is, but they often come from random sources. And it's like we've been battling, and then all of a sudden, bang, all of this cash flow. Okay? And then what happens is, again, increase emotion, decrease intelligence. And typically what will happen, you've got all of this money and then you spend it on the wrong things. You don't save, you don't reinvest it, and then you'll get a whole heap of learnings around cash flow. Okay? The next step, which is step number 4, is time. And time is what I believe is the new currency and what really everyone wants. They don't want the billion-dollar company, but what they want is freedom. Is time to be able to do what you want when you want. And that could be a side business that is giving you an extra 50K a year or 100K, whatever it is. This whole philosophy of, I want the private jet and the boats and all that type of stuff, I think that's old stuff. I think what we really want is time, and technology has enabled time. And so if we look at step number 3, which is the money, if you invest money correctly, then you'll get a whole heap of time. And once we've got that time, then we can fully start to look at entirely breaking out of the job. Now, this could be a 90-day kind of approach. It could be 6 months. It could be 12 months. It's completely different. And really, it's determined by how much you're willing to learn and grow. See, typically, when people start businesses, the reverse happens. They've got all of this time. They've got all of this money. And or maybe they've got savings or whatever it is, and then they get rid of all of their savings in their business. They've got all of this time, but because no one's standing over them telling them what to do, they waste that time with, I'll go and watch TV, I'll go and hang with friends, I'll go and do all of these things, which is actually not building your business. Even sitting down with someone recently, and they said, well, I was having coffee with some of my friends, and we were talking about my business. And I was like, okay, well, were they customers? Were they potential customers? They're like, no. Do they have, any opportunities for joint ventures, databases, anything like that? Or no. Do they even have any understanding of who your customer is? Oh, no. And so were they giving you advice around your business? Oh, yeah, they were telling me not to do it because a job is safer. And I said to this person, that is not building your business. That is wasting time. And I think this is what a lot of people that have been in jobs your entire life, you've had someone standing over you telling you what to do, when to do it. The challenge is when you break out of your business, when you break out of your job, there's no one standing over you telling you what to do. The buck stops with you. And this is why having a coach or a support system that is outside of the business is going to really help you transition out of the JOB to doing your first 100K. And so we'd love to help you with this. Check out mattcatling.com. There are so many opportunities. We've got a program, as I said, The Great Escape. We can support you with this. We've got free programs. We've got the Troublemakers Disruption Tour is a free program. Again, check out mattcatling.com. Or I've got Live It Now, which is a free program. We're raising money for Bear Cottage. And that is an opportunity for you to be able to get conscious of the things that you need to learn about yourself. And so, as we said previously, those rules that often we're unconscious of that are potentially holding us back. And the key is to do an audit on yourself, to get clarity, to have that self-awareness, so that then you can start to transition to the next levels. And what I want to also say to people is often, the first business is a learning business. Could even be the second business is a learning business. Clarity never comes up front. It comes on the journey, and we've got to keep moving. We've got to keep showing up. And the key to showing up, and I say this at events, is 90% of success is just showing up. But the key to showing up is to show up when you don't want to. When every part of you does not want to show up and face the business or face whatever it is, that's when we show up. And that's what successful people do, is they've got the ability to be able to push themselves to show up in those crises and to break out. And that is what the breakout is. And this is what, as my Troublemakers company does, this is what we help people do, is to break out of your job, to break out of your business, to break into life. So I hope you enjoyed today's disruption session. Hope I gave you a bit of clarity around what the disruption sessions are and their purpose are, or the reason we're running these. And the key is, as I said before, create a disruption to create an eruption of opportunities in your life. And let me tell you, there are so many opportunities out there once you get your mindset right and once you start really showing up the way that you guys know you can. So I hope you enjoyed today. Please connect with us on social media, on any of my Matt Catling social media, whether it be Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Please let me know if you've got any questions, how I can help you, what content you would like to hear. I really want to make this customized and relevant to you. So thank you so much for listening today. Stay tuned for the next one.